Hello, this is Matt Weaver from ProTech Systems Group, and I'm here to give you a brief introduction of the Scada at your site at West Hills. Right now what you're looking at is the main screen, and above that is a header, and below that is the footer. The header shows a title, which is West Hills Wastewater Treatment Plant. And next to that is the title of the screen you're on. Right now it's main, and you'll see that change as I go through the screens. Next to that is the ProTech logo and the time and date. Below those are the buttons to access various areas of the Scada. The screens button will open up a drop-down menu with a list of screens you can go to. And next to that is the trends button, which is another drop-down menu with screens that have trends on them, such as that. I'll go back to the main. So we're and then the next button to the right of that is a login, where you can log in as different users and which have different rights access to changing values and things like that. Next to that is the O&M button, which will bring up the operations and maintenance manual. Next to that is the alarms button, which takes you to the alarm screen, and will show you that in a minute. Below that, below the main, is the footer. This shows you a brief summary of the alarms that are unacknowledged and current. So right now we don't have any alarms, so there's nothing there. I will go through the screens really quickly. So right now we're on the main screen. This basically is your overview of the plant. As much information condensed into one screen without a lot of detail. As I go through these different screens, you'll see more detail on the different on each section of your operation. So next one is going to be your raw sewage, and again this has much more information on these screens as you dig down into them, and I'll go through these in more detail of what you're looking at. The next one is going to be your aeration. Shows the blowers, and this is where you have more control of your aeration. The next is going to be digestion. Has the foam control pumps and sludge pumps, and the next screen is going to be your sludge. The process, again, I'm just going over these screens briefly so you can see them and just get an idea of how to navigate through the Scada. Next is going to be the chlorine. Again, pumps and just a lot more information than what's on the main screen. Next screen is going to be the electric room. And then the next one is going to be Applewald, and the rest of these are going to be your remote sites. And again, much more information than what's on the main screen. Next one after that is furnace run, and most of these remote sites are going to be fairly similar. They have very similar configurations. This one has more alarms, but as I go through these, you'll see the configuration's pretty similar, and the screens will look very, very similar. So Hickory Lane is next, and then Maple and Glade. So that gives you access. Those are all of your various screens that you can go through for your plant operation and the remote site operation. The trends, you have the effluent diversion trend. This has a lot of good data you can go through and see what has been going on with your plant and the process, and you can go back in time, and it's a good way to track if you have issues and inconsistencies. This one is the raw sewage and RAS. And you see the title up here changing as I go through these. It's going to be the waste, thickened, and the next one, blower PID, doesn't really pertain to much. Just the Glade run is on there. Yeah, I don't think you'll see anything else on it, so probably won't use that much. We might actually probably take it away at some point. The overview, this is again kind of like your main, but for the trends. Gives you an overview of your trends and kind of see everything in one screen. So I think the next thing is just going to be the alarms, and that is going to be over here, I believe. There we go. So this is going to be your alarms window, and this will show you more than just I think the 5 alarms that are in that overview, the summary window, the footer, and this shows you more alarms. Again, they're not going to be here if they're acknowledged. They're just unacknowledged alarms, and you can see down here that there's 0 unacknowledged alarms, so you don't have anything there. And I'll go through this screen in more detail and what's available. So for now, that is everything. This just a good overview of the Scada, and I'll go into more detail in the future in other sections. Hi, this is Matt Weaver, and in this section I will be going over the main screen. This screen gives you a general overview of the plant process and as much information as possible on one screen without going into too much detail in each section of the process. So, however, there are shortcuts on the screen, and that will take you to a more detailed screen for that section. For instance, these remote lift stations up here, they are just simple boxes. They'll light up red when there's a pump running, yellow with a red X if there's an alarm, and red when stopped. But if you click on any of these boxes, it will take you to a screen for that appropriate lift station. So that's one of the shortcuts. Next one is going to be on these sludge pumps. That will take you to the digestion screen to give you more access to more control there. And the other section, or the other shortcuts we got here, is for the raw sewage, and either the well here or the pumps will take you to that screen. And the other section, or the other shortcut, is going to be the aeration blowers, and that'll take you to the aeration screen. I'll take you back to the main. So that's all the shortcuts. For the screen itself, again, we compiled this according to the plant layout. So yeah, you have the influent here that comes into the wet well and is pumped into the aeration and digestion tanks, over to the clarifiers, and then out of that and into the contact tank and the effluent. So kind of is a general layout of how the plant is set up. And if you look at this, there's pumps. We got pumps and blowers here, and those are similar to how these boxes are, where it's red when stopped and green when running. And below those you'll see different labels and tags. But below these here, say for instance the raw sewage pumps, you have a auto here, which is in blue, and then manual also. So that'll tell you if it's in auto or manual from the Scada, and it'll also show you the frequency of the pump at what it's running at. So you can see this one, pump number 2 is running at 40.5, and pump number 1 is stopped. We have the level of the raw sewage, as well as the influent flow, diversion flow if that ever happens, if that's the case. The sump pumps. We have the information from the aeration and digestion sensors, according to each tank, and if a froth spray pump is on, that I'll show you here. Next to that is going to be the digestion box that shows the RAS or the WAS and the RAS flow, and then next to that is the clarifiers, and you can see clarify number 2 is running. That's in green, and rotating, and clarifier 1 is stopped. Up here, the foam control is number 1 is stopped, and we're currently in auto. And those run off of timers, so again, number 2 is running, and that's in auto, and that's off a timer as well. These sludge pumps are the same, but they're both stopped. This one here is in waste. This waste sludge is in auto, which is from the Scada. You actually have to set it auto or manual. That is a basically telling it to run in a specific way. If you put in auto, then there's an auto control program that will tell it when to turn on, when to turn off. If it's a manual like this here, it actually requires operator input to turn that pump on. Below those, you'll see the remote. It'll show either remote or local. Like this here, these are in local, these RAS pumps. Remote or local, that if it's in remote, or if it says remote or local, that's coming from the field, from the device itself. A handoff auto switch or something that is telling it whether it's in remote or local. If it's in remote, then we have control of it, either manual or auto. If it's in local, we have no control. So you can't start it or stop it from the Scada here if it's in local. Yeah, that requires someone to be at the drive or a push button somewhere to actually start it somewhere at the contactor. Next to that is a sludge thickener. Again, that's similar to the clarifiers. It's green when it's running, and it'll rotate as well. And the belt filter press, when that is running, it'll be green also. And we have the thickened sludge flow below that. The scum pit levels that will show up here, and below that is the effluent reuse pumps. These again, these show you the auto manual setting, and also the frequency that the pump is running. Next to that is the chlorine contact tank. There's no visual there, just a visual depiction of it, but it doesn't change or anything. So just the effluent flow next to that, and then we also have the variables of the sensor that's in this tank. So pH, dissolved oxygen, and the chlorine concentration there. So and then next to that is the foam control, same as up here. That one's running, and then the RAS pumps. These are in manual and also local control. So we have no control over these pumps, but we do have indication of it. So pump number 2 is running, 1 and 3 are not, and then the RAS flow is below that. Next to that, to the left, is the aeration blowers. We have the overall blower airflow, and the pump status is here. So 1 and 3 are running, and they're in auto from the Scada here. So they'll run in an auto function, which I'll show you. I'll go over that in another section. But that is the main screen. Hi, this is Matt Weaver, and in this section I will be going over the raw sewage screen and the this process control that's on here. This screen shows the information for the wet well level, and also the raw well level, and then the pumps statuses, as well as some pumps, and the sampler information, and also commutator status, and the diversion flow and influent flow. So any information that is pertinent to the raw sewage process we try to put on here. What you see on the screen is you see some set points, and then also some indicators showing the values of certain flows and other data. So I'll go through it one at a time here. Again, diversion flow, the commutator, red when stopped, green when running, and then remote if it's in local or remote, and then also under the pumps here, auto and manual, the frequency that they're running at, and also which one is what the state of the pump is as far as the auto program goes, whether it's lead or lag. So pump 2 right now is in lead. Pump number 1 is in lag, and that will operate like that until for 1 week, and then it'll switch unless you disable the rotation. So right now what I did was I clicked on the pump. So either one of these pumps will open up this pop-up window, and I'll show you here. For the control for those, right now it's in automatic rotation. When in auto, it'll rotate for 1 week, and then we'll switch to the other one. And I believe that is set at Monday at 9 a.m. You can disable that rotation, and if you're in the middle of the week or something, that you can reset it and it'll switch. But the disable rotation it won't switch. It'll take that out of automatic rotation, and you can set which one is lead and which one is lead. Then the other one will be lag, so it'll automatically switch. So this pop-up gives you the auto manual control. So if you switch it into manual, it will take it out of that auto sequence. And if, say for instance, this one is in auto and this one you put in manual, if you put this in manual and this pump can't keep up, then it won't be able to turn pump number 1 on. You'll have to do that manually by pressing the start button here. These start stops are grayed out because it's an auto, so the PLC is controlling that function. But if you put in manual, they'll be highlighted. You can select them and just start and stop them manually. Then you have the rate at which it's the percentage at which it's running, and then also the speed at which it's being commanded to run. So that is the pop-up there, and I access that by selecting the pump itself. So that's the control for the pump. And the wet well levels there, and let's see what's over here is the influent totalizer. This is where this is the totalizer that will create an action alarm based off of the flow over a certain period of time, and that is set by these set points over here. You have the total duration, and then the interval duration, and which is so the sample. So it'll take 60 samples at where it's configured right now, and then the flow action. So if it goes over 80,000 in that period of time, then it will create an alarm, an action alarm. Next to that is the effluent flow. We also have rainfall right now, which will be attached to this input or this field here, and that is the rain gauge at the plant. And next to that is the alarm stats, AC power, UPS, we have the methane, and then also communication to the PLC there. That'll come up with an error or an alarm if it's bad. So next to that is the set points for the wet well control. This is where you actually can change the auto program of when these pumps turn on and off, and which ones do. So these first two set points here, the single pump min and max level, this is where you set the level of the well for the pumps to run and then stop, run, and it'll and what frequency that pump is going to run at. So it will at minimum level here, it'll run at minimum speed, and it'll also turn on at that level. Max level, it will be at 100%. At that level. So once it comes down, if it hits 4.5, it's going to be at 100%. And when it draws down, it'll continue to draw down. And if there's nothing flowing into the plant, it'll draw down and keep drawing down past this level. But at minimum speed. And the point at which it stops is these off levels down here. So if one pump is running, then the pump will turn off at 3 feet, and it won't turn on back on again until it reaches 3.5 feet. So between those two values here, 3.5 and 4.5 feet, it'll run between minimum and maximum speed. And below that, these two set points here is the lag set point, where if it reaches this 4.5 feet and it goes over that, then it will turn on the second pump, and when it turns on the second pump, then it'll go into a dual pump mode where both pumps will run from minimum to max between 4.5 and 5.5 feet right now. So if there's a rush of influent and one pump can't keep up, then it'll switch over to two pumps, and once that goes away, then it'll draw down with two pumps down to this level here. It'll stay with two pumps until it reaches this lag off level. Once it reaches the lag off level, the lag pump will turn off, and it'll switch over to this single pump mode, and it will operate between this range, min-max level range. So that is the function of the auto program. If you put these in manual, then those have no effect. Those set points have no effect. You have to start them and stop them manually. So that's the set points, and next to that is the sampler, sump pumps, and then these down here are the run times for the pumps, the well pumps, and then also the totals for the raw flow and diverted flow. So that is the raw sewage screen. Hi, this is Matt Weaver, and in this section I will be going over the aeration control for the blowers, and this screen here gives you access to the controls for this operation. So in this screen we have, I'll start from left to right here, these blower set points. There's 3 blowers, and the way that they're configured is specific, and it requires some manual function to change where they go, whether it's aeration or digestion. These blower set points are basically what you want the overall value to be. It's an average value of what the blowers are going to try to match. So you see right now the aeration is set to 2, and the averages down here. This is what I'm actually reading for my control, and then the digester dissolved oxygen is right here, 2.5. So basically what this is doing is it's set to look for 2, and if I look at my tanks here below that, then aeration tank number 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 4, and 5. And then I have the digester tanks 3 and 6. These are the actual values of the sensors. Basically what it's doing here is looking at which ones are enabled for the aeration. So you can enable or disable here. A yellow button indicates that it is disabled for this function, for this auto control. Green means it's enabled. It's labeled enable DO sensor. That's a command. If you click on it, it will enable it, and disable here will disable it. So these two here are the ones that are enabled, 4 and 5, and it's taking the average of that. So we're at 2.154 is the average of those two values. So it's going to take the average, and it's going to try to maintain that with the blowers that are selected. And the same is true for the digesters set points. So if you set this and you enable one or both of these, it will look at these tanks. So the aeration set point, the aeration set looks at tanks 1, 2, 4, and 5, whichever ones of those are enabled, and then digester set point looks at 3 and 6, whichever one is, of those are enabled, and then it takes the average, and that average is what it tries to maintain. So right now we have, if you click on these blowers, it'll open up another pop-up for the control. And as you and I can show you here this the way these are set up right now that are running. Blower number 1 is in remote, and blower number 2 is in local. Blower number 3 is in remote. So these are telling me that in the field at the drive they are these two, 1 and 3 are in remote, and number 2 is in local. So I don't have any control of this blower number 2. It'd have to go down to the drive itself, and there's a handoff auto switch, I believe, there, and you'll have to switch it to remote for you to have control from the Scada here. And it's in manual right now. For blow number 2. Blow number 3 is running in manual. It is in remote, but we are controlling it. We can start and stop it, and we can also set the speed here. It is not running in auto. And blow number 1 is in auto, and you can't set the speed, but we can read it, and this auto is being controlled off of this value here. So if it's an auto, it'll look at these set points and try to maintain the average dissolved oxygen. Now the blowers, you can set which ones, what automatic function they're used for, aeration or digestion, and you can see blow number 1 and blow number 2 are both set for aeration, and blow number 3 is set for digestion. So if you click these, it'll change what function those blowers are used for, and what they look at, what set points they look at to run off of. So if there's a fault, you can reset that as well from here. So that is the control of those blowers. You can see the statuses here, auto manual. These are the auto manual from the Scada screen. Also you have power states and communication states as well. Below those are the run times for today, previous day, and then the total. And we also have total airflow for the month, today, yesterday, and this month, and the last month. The influent flow is also on here as well, and as well as the rain gauge will be there as well. And then we also have the plant air compressors, and those will light up red when running, or green when running, red when stopped. So that is the aeration screen. Hi, this is Matt Weaver, and in this section I will be going over the digestion foam control operation here. And this screen shows you the control of the foam control pumps and also the waste and thickener sludge pumps. There are set points here for the foam control and also the sludge pumps. To the right, these set points on the left are for the foam control pumps, and set points on the right are for the sludge pumps. Basically, they are timer set points, and they are the same for all of these pumps. So you have an on time, a duration time, and you have that for pump 1, 2, thickener, and the waste sludge pumps as well. So how this works is the set point, the on time set point is the time that the pump will run. So 30 minutes here for pump number 1, which means this pump will run for 30 minutes, and it'll look at this duration time. This is the total time of the timer, so it'll subtract this on time from the duration time, and what's left is the time at which the pump will be off. So if you set this pump to auto, it will automatically turn on, and it'll run for 30 minutes and will turn off and stay turned off for another 30 minutes, which is the completion of the timer, and then we'll reset. And then it will run again for another 30 minutes and off for 30 minutes. So that is the timer operation, and that's true for each of these pumps. And it could be you can set it in minutes and seconds as well. So you have some flexibility there as far as how to operate these. In order for these to run off these timers, they need to be in remote and not in local, which is from the field. There's a handoff auto switch for those, and then the auto here, they have to be in auto, which is from the Scada here. If it's in manual, then it'll run off of a manual function from the Scada, but auto will run off these timers. So that's true for any of these here. So if I click on the pump, I'll bring up this pop-up. Each of these pumps will have a pop-up like this, where you can set it in manual and auto, and then start and stop it just like the other ones, and set speed. But right now, like I said, the pumps are running in auto, so you can't start and stop it. And if there's a fail, you can reset it from here as well. And I can go through and I can show you the pop-up for the waste and thickened sludge pumps. Again, similar as what I just showed you. Auto manual, start and stop, and then if they're stopped and running. So we also have the digester tank values here from the sensors, those probes, and those are here as well for a reference. And we also have the sludge thickener. And up here we have the statuses for the power and communications, and the run times for each of the pumps are down here. So that is the overview of the digestion, foam control, and sludge pumps.